Hi, this is Eternal King here bringing you another LOR video today. So I want to talk about the value of legacy decks. So a lot of card games that have been around for a while, cards like Magic the Gathering, have essentially been in the scene long enough that decks begin to build something of a history for themselves. A good example is Humans. Humans is a deck that has existed for a long time in MTG, specifically Modern, and it will continue to be something that is, fondly remembered by players for a long time to come. With, it'll probably be off meta now, even though it was meta before. But what's going to happen is there will always be those hipsters that kind of bring it back, and that's true of a lot of decks, Dredge and a million other archetypes. LOR is kind of similar. I've been building decks since way back when I was on Out of Cards. Now I'm on Runeterra AR. And I've been building Eternal decks that entire time. Basically before Eternal was Eternal, but still kind of was Eternal. I've been building since then. So one of the decks that I just brought out for Eternal ranked right now, which I feel is actually exceptionally well poised into what people are playing. Most of what people are playing right now are do-nothing decks. They're essentially playing do-nothing control because they're terrified of Ziggs Poppy and they're terrified of Azir Aurelia. Not to say that they shouldn't be. If you go to something like Runeterra AR, those are like two of the decks we actually have valid statistics for. The third one being TF Draw, and then the fourth one doesn't matter. So of course they're going to target, they're going to build control lists, do nothing lists that are either ping heavy or spam heavy, or essentially just a ton of ways of dealing with aggro. So into that situation, I wanted to bring out an old chestnut that I used to use on ranked, which is Asol Ramp. Asol Ramp is one of the best tools for punishing do-nothing decks that exists. I know that we have things like Volley Bear, which is great for tempo. There are times when tempo doesn't matter, right? Volley Bear coming down and punishing an aggro deck is going to feel great, etc. But there are times when you just don't need it. Like Volley Bear just isn't going to get you the kind of value that you want to see, or the kind of tempo that you want to see, or the kind of it's just not necessary for winning. But a deck like this, Targon Freljord, is good at two very distinct things. Stalling. So there's a lot of stall in this deck, and a lot of the stall is very burst speed. You'll notice that, and that's very important. Even fast speed isn't good enough sometimes, so we have burst speed. So Three Sisters as a 3 of, again, such a staple Freljord card in Eternal. Probably good in Standard as well. Again, I don't want to speak for Standard. I think someone commented on one of my videos where they just want me to stay away from Standard. I'm happy to do that. I don't like Standard. So forget Standard. Three Sisters is amazing in Eternal. It has been for the long history of the game that I've been playing, and that most of the streamers have been playing. Cosmic Youngling as a 3 of. I've mentioned before that Cosmic Youngling is the best anti-aggro tool in the game. No holds barred, just like jam 3 copies of this 2-drop into a slower style of deck to single-handedly stall out open attack pressure and tempo, which is huge, and it's mostly do-nothing tempo. So like, for example, TF Draw will play the 2-3 3 times in a row, and that's called do-nothing tempo. 2-3s are chump units that have a good defensive stat line but don't actually do anything. So they'll just play a bunch of 2-3s. Cosmic Youngling can obviously just sit there and have the 2-3s swing into your face and mitigate some of that damage just by having Cosmic Youngling on the board. I wouldn't recommend blocking most of the time unless your opponent's tapped out on mana. Faces the old one, again, staple ramp card. I'm something of a ramp specialist. Like I'm very good with aggro. I've kind of proven that, but I'm also a staple ramp specialist. It's something I've been playing for a long time, and it's kind of a pet deck for me, and it's one of the reasons why I play Eternal and not Standard, because again, ramp doesn't exist in Standard, at least not good ramp. Winter's Touch, again, I would say that this is, flat out better than things like Cataclysm and Wild Mysticism, which are both great cards on their own. Like, just you run the whole package, right? The whole ramp package: Winter's Touch, Catalyst, I mean, and Wild Mysticism. You run the whole thing. Harsh Winds is a 3 of, again, more burst answers. Trundle, again, just stall. Hit the Stairs is a 3 of, so again, when you hit 8 mana, then you get to board wipe. One Voices of the old one, so again, this is big ramp, right? This is 2 mana crystals, and of course, it's also allowing you to draw your top end. So In this deck specifically, one Voices is stonks. Burden and Ice, again, 3 of. Just for that board wipe, it's very, very good. A Soul as a 3 of. She Who Wanders as a 3 of. So this is a She Who Wanders deck, and that's why we're running so much stalls. Like, just everything in this deck is ramp and stall and ramp and stall, and not even caring about board wiping with avalanches or getting rid of units. It's just none of that matters. We're either, we're playing It That Stares, we're playing She Who Wanders. Exceptionally important for removing every single, basically do nothing card from the opponent's deck. It's the most effective tool for that in the game. It's existed since vanilla. It is still the best tool for dealing with do nothing decks. It's going to kill the Ezreal. It's going to kill the Lysandra. It's going to kill the Aphelios. It's going to kill the Kindred. It's going to kill Darkness cards. It's going to kill Morgana. It's going to kill every single non-committal card in the opponent's deck. It's going to kill the Leona. It's going to kill aggro cards. Like every single non-committal card. It's going to kill the Zoe. Just every single non-committal card in your opponent's hand and on the board is gone. And 90% of Eternal ranked right now is either aggro, 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 or anti-aggro, anti-aggro, anti-aggro. And again, this basically should do okay into both, as far as I know. This should do okay into both. Again, it's going to depend on you drawing things like Cosmic Youngling, of course, and allowing you to stall out the game that way. But otherwise, yes, this is great. This is great. This is old school Ace Soul ramp, and it's one of those cases where, like, don't be afraid to look at decks that you built like 2 years ago and have just been sitting in your deck list or whatever. Don't be afraid to look at that stuff, because there is value there. Like, there is value in Scouts. There's value in Pirate Aggro, like old school Pirate Aggro, MFTF. There's value in all that stuff. Monoshrema, I just reevaluated Monoshrema lately, so I was thinking about old decks being good again in Eternal. So this is one of the decks that came to mind. It's just like the best do nothing punish in the entire game, which is just jam She Who Wanders as fast as humanly possible. This is Eternal King signing out, but again, just don't be afraid to look at your old decks, because something like this, I looked at the title and I was like, what are you doing part 2? And I was like, oh right, I built this for ladder to punish do nothing players way back when. Back, like, these cards have been around for a while. I think Voices of the old one was just released at the time. And it's like, wow, this is really good at punishing just the dichotomy of, like, okay, either you're aggro or you're a do-nothing deck. And there's just, like, no mid-range and no commitment to win cons and nothing that's, like, that powerful. The other nice thing, too, is you can't suppress the She Who Wanders. So the She Who Wanders and the It That Stares being units with the play effects is nice as well. But yeah, it's kind of a rant, but I literally just picked this up and played it in ranked right now, and it felt great. It felt amazing. So She Who Wanders, still an amazing card.